Good evening. This is the Guyana Learning Channel's news in capsule for Wednesday, November 17, 2021. In the headlines tonight: Education Ministry aiming for 100% enrollment at nursery level. Guyana, Canada collaborate to preserve Indigenous culture and languages. And Guyana eases border restrictions with Brazil. In the world of sports, Guyana among 4 host nations for ICC Under-19 World Cup 2022. Regionally, Belize gives public officers deadlines to get vaccinated. And on the international scene, gas prices to see decrease as global oil supply picks up. With the details, I am Denelli Singh. Nursery Education in Guyana celebrated 45 years yesterday since its existence in a formal setting. To observe this day, the Ministry of Education hosted a national symposium on play-based pedagogy under the theme Revisiting Play in the Nursery School System in Guyana, Opportunities for Inclusion and Responsive Programming. Speaking at the event hosted at the Pegasus Hotel Guyana, the Honorable Minister of Education, Priya Manikchan, noted that nursery education is the most important stage of a child's development. She disclosed that Guyana has the highest level of enrollment in the Commonwealth at 85% and is continuously pushing to have 100% access to such facilities. Also addressing the event was the Assistant Chief Education Officer Literacy, Ms. Samantha Williams, who noted that every child must develop the readiness skills and attitude for lifelong learning at the nursery level. The event was a collaboration between the National Center of Educational Resources Development NCERD, UNICEF Guyana, University of Guyana, Syracuse University USA, the Pennsylvania State University USA, and Bloomsburg University USA. Nicholas Prawn of UNICEF pointed out that play is an important pillar of the learning process as he congratulated the ministry on its achievement over the past 45 years. This piece was extracted from the Department of Public Information. A collaborative effort will be taken by Guyana and Canada to preserve the Indigenous people's culture, language, and way of life. Minister of Amerindian Affairs Pauline Sakai said on Tuesday at the ceremonial unveiling of the Indigenous mural at the Canadian Embassy, titled We the First People. The minister noted that both Guyana and Canada have continued to share strong bilateral relations built on a foundation of shared principles, policies, and traits for decades, adding that Guyana will continue to fight for the rights and protection of Amerindian people as they promote cultural exchanges, languages, and their way of life. The minister also said the government will ensure full development and recognition of the importance of Indigenous people's contributions. The Indigenous culture is an integral part of the tourism sector, the minister related, as persons travel from across the world to experience this culture. Speaking at the event as well, Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce Onij Walrun said the mural is significant as it brings together 2 governments in friendship and cooperation as they seek to protect the Amerindian culture while developing the tourism industry. Meanwhile, Canadian High Commissioner to Guyana, His Excellency Mark Berman, said the art will allow for Canada to support new and innovative forms of Indigenous expressions. He also stated that it is necessary as it represents the global effort to preserve endangered Indigenous languages. The mural was painted by young Indigenous artist Mr. Nigel Butler and is an abstract piece depicting patterns and designs from the First Nations of Canada and Indigenous peoples of Guyana. An inscription on the mural stating "Welcome to the High Commission of Canada" was done in Akawayo, a local Indigenous language. This piece was extracted from the Department of Public Information. Guyana on Tuesday announced a revision of the national emergency coronavirus COVID-19 measures to allow for the Guyana-Brazil border crossing to be opened from Mondays to Fridays. The Takatu Bridge had been closed for more than a year and flights between the countries were also halted as the authorities here implemented the measures aimed at curbing the spread of the virus, as Brazil had been named as having one of the highest COVID-19 infection rates in the world, with several variants also circulating there. The new measure has already taken effect and replaces the old agreement where persons were allowed to travel between the 2 countries using the crossing only on Fridays. Addressing the daily COVID-19 update, Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony said that revised measures have been put in place to allow for the general movement of people, and not only for business purposes. Minister Anthony explained that the opening from Monday to Friday would allow for people to come across once they are able to produce their vaccination card to show that they are fully vaccinated and that they have an antigen test or a PCR test that is negative. This piece was extracted from Loop News Caribbean. And now in the world of sports. Guyana is set to be one of 4 hosts for the 2022 ICC Under-19 Men's Cricket World Cup. The tournament, which will feature 16 countries in 48 matches, is to be held in the Caribbean for the first time in its 14-edition history and will run from January 14 to February 5. The tournament will utilize 10 venues in 4 Caribbean countries: Antigua and Barbuda, Guyana, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Trinidad and Tobago. This piece was extracted from the newsroom. And now for regional news. Public officers in Belize have until December 15 to show proof that they have been vaccinated against the coronavirus or face the risk of being marked absent from work and subject to disciplinary actions. A circular from the Public Service, Constitutional and Political Reform states that for the safety of all public officers and the public service, it has been decided that all essential workers and other public officers must be vaccinated by December 15, 2021. The circular also indicated, furthermore, the officer will be marked absent and will be subject to disciplinary proceedings in accordance with any law that regulates the service of that officer. In October, Prime Minister John Bursino had warned that by year-end that all the frontline workers will have to be vaccinated. On Sunday, the director of the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, Dr. Carissa Ettany, said it should be left to sovereign states to decide whether or not to enforce a mandatory coronavirus vaccination program for its population. This piece was extracted from Loop News Caribbean. And on the international scene, a rise in global crude oil supply could put the brakes on surging gasoline prices that have hit record levels in parts of the United States and Europe. According to the International Energy Agency's latest market report, global oil supplies jumped by 1.4 million barrels per day in October, with the United States accounting for half that increase as Gulf of Mexico output recovered from the damage caused by Hurricane Ida in August. The Paris-based agency said it expected a further boost of 1.5 million barrels per day over November and December, with the United States forecast to provide more of that increase than any other country. This piece was extracted from CNN. That's it for today's edition of GLC News. Join us again tomorrow right here on the Guyana Learning Channel for more educational news and updates. On behalf of the technical team, thanks for watching and remember to stay safe, Guyana.